Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Out the Box. Looks at Cthulhu Awakens from Green Ronin Publishing. I am the board game guru, game master extraordinaire, Jahananan.
It's me, Casualty CDG, co-host of Fresh Out the Box, and also Fresh Out the Podcast. It's our podcast where we podcast about things, but today we're going to look at a book with our eyeballs and talk to you about it with our mouths.
I'm AD Stringer, also known as Corbinian, variety video game and tabletop role-playing game Twitch streamer. Excitedly looking forward to reading Cthulhu Awakens. I love Cthulhu Mythos stuff, so this game and Fantasy Age stuff, so it works just fine for me. So I'm going to be a little biased.
All of us know the age system pretty well. John, do we reveal that we're affiliates now, and you can use the thing and you can get the thing?
Okay. So in the description of the video, I promise a discount code. You can use the code Fresh Out the Box at checkout on greenroninstore.com to get any and everything that they sell there for, I believe it's 5% off. Our channel gets a bit of that revenue as well. And that includes everything you're about to see, I believe. I don't think...
That's not just because they send us cool things and tell us cool things. If you go through our YouTube, go way back. We've been playing Age games for 4 years now?
Hundreds of episodes of Age. Yes, sir.
Every Thursday is Thursday Age. We started with The Expanse. We've been playing a long time. We love the system. That's how we became affiliates, not the other way around. They didn't pay us to like it. We like it.
Correct.
So they give us a
They send us PDFs for free, sometimes to review. Sometimes they send us physical objects. But what you're about to see, I paid for it with my own money because I am a fan. We got the Game Masters kit. I just opened it up. It's got some charts. It's got the classic GM screen with the beautiful artwork here, and of course all the tables and whatnot that you need to run your game a little quicker. And you can get that at greenroninstore.com. All that good stuff. I got it on the Kickstarter, and then I'm about to open for the very first time. This is, you can see the cover displayed on screen here, the PDF of the regular book, but this is it's not the collector's edition. What is it? Limited?
I don't know what that is, dude. That looks sick, though.
Yeah,
That's wild. That looks dope as hell.
This is the Cthulhu Awakens collector's edition. Green Ronin Publishing.
Up the cover, dude. Keep that shit on the screen just the whole time. I don't want to even see your face today. Yeah, I just want to see the book.
Today we're talking about Cthulhu Awakens. Yeah, you can. I think you can still buy it.
2 holes right through the middle so you can see with your eyeballs.
No, my book.
So you can see with your eyeballs.
Can my eyes absorb the knowledge of the book through the sides?
That seems like a Corbinian question to me.
Ooh. It feels even better than it looks. It's like velvety and then smooth. A really nice quality book here. Mm-hmm. Beautiful stuff. But yeah, this is my copy. Where's yours?
Hardcover, yeah?
Yeah, hardcover. Hardcover, felt, gold, filigree. Beautiful book. One of the prizes of my collection now. So very excited for that. But yeah, we're going to be taking a look. We're going to be looking at the PDF because I don't want to be lugging that thing. I don't have enough desk space to use a physical book while I'm streaming. But this is the physical book.
I'm an Age guy. I know Age, but I don't
Gary,
know
your volume Mythos is gone.
What?
I can hear you, but barely. All of a sudden it changed. I don't know what happened. Gary did something silly. It's okay. He's going to figure it out. We're talking about Cthulhu Awakens. Did anything did you hear it too, Corbinian?
No, I heard it loud and clear, 5x5.
Oh.
Yeah, it was I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything.
It's funny. I turned the volume down on my headphones.
Okay. It does seem like my mistake.
Oh no, I can't hear you. Oh no.
Oh, my fault. My fault, dude. My fault. That one's on me, dude. That was 100% on me. But hey.
No problem, bro. I was saying I'm an Age fan, but I don't really know anything about the Cthulhu mythos. I know what it is, sort of. So I'm coming into this, whereas Corbinian knows a lot about the Cthulhu mythos, and he's excited for that aspect. I'm coming into this as more of just an Age guy, hoping that previous Age games will lend me enough strength to have fun in this setting.
Yeah. I don't know. I know some. I don't know a lot. I know enough, I guess. I was a contributor for the Cthulhu Dreamt Kickstarter, and I wrote an adventure for that book. So, like, I have a hat in the race, but I'm not an expert. I feel like Corbinian probably knows a lot more. And then Malcolm, if you ever hear Malcolm, one of the writers of this book, talk about Cthulhu, he knows a lot. So it's definitely going to be an interesting look. But, I mean, the main reason why I want to look at this, I did a poll on our YouTube. It seems that people are interested in Fantasy Age content, and then right after that, Cthulhu Awakens. So I'm thinking our next actual play, once we're done with Fantasy Age on our Thursday streams, we'll pivot to Cthulhu Awakens, at least for a bit.
We should do the whole thing, like, not literally, but like by candlelight. The whole thing should be like nightmarish.
I could light a candle in here.
Well, I don't, like I said, not literally, like, but that kind of spooky, that kind of vibe, that kind of feel, we should bring it all the way down.
What's up, Penguin? Thanks for the tentacle hug. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Here we go. Told you.
I'm back. Don't worry.
We already knew.
Don't worry. I'm back.
We weren't worried. We already knew.
Still telling you,
you
need to update your Discord. Just saying.
I uninstalled it and reinstalled it, for the record.
I also uninstalled and reinstalled Discord, and my Discord does not work anymore, and I have to use the browser version.
I thought that, so I was, what do you call it? I had Twitch open for a bit because, like, there's something going on with Streamlabs where I'm not getting to use the chat through Streamlabs in Twitch anymore. And so I thought that that's what was crashing everything, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Might happen a couple more times during the stream. Sorry about it. But hey, we're going to get through this, and we're going to have fun. Damn it.
Or else.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, but so Cthulhu Awakens here. It's a beautiful book. Probably the best art to date in an age book. And, you know, it's always very exciting, good stuff to begin with. So that's definitely praise. The chapters open up. Chapter 1 in the section called Seekers it starts off with a lot of lore, as Gary had pointed out to me earlier. Starts off with the cosmos of Cthulhu and goes all the way to Arkham at the Twilight. See, you don't have to know a lot about Cthulhu. They can teach you here. But we're probably going to skip right to Chapter 2 here. We're not teaching people about Cthulhu specifically.
There's so much lore out there.
There's
so many wikis.
So much.
And as a side note, if one was looking at this thing, oh god, there's a ton of stuff. Honestly, most campaigns I've ever seen or ran, you just focus on one big scary.
Yes.
You don't run all of them at the same time to get in each other's way. So it's enough to have one or two things to save an idea of what kind of nonsense.
Yeah, it's not like fantasy. You don't have to know the interconnected politics between goblins and elves. Like, you don't need to know that kind of stuff. You just need to know, this god likes when you're hungry. Boom. Like, that's all. You don't need to know that much. You just need to know what their creep factor is and how to portray. In a nutshell,
there's 37 pages of lore here with all sorts of stuff, like organizations and basically everything but adventures. Tons of flavor for you guys to get into Cthulhu if you don't know what Cthulhu is. It's a fast track, so you don't have to go read hundreds of books from dozens of authors.
Yeah, here's Chapter 2, Against the Mythos. So this is the players. The players are against the mythos, the mythos being the Cthulhu creatures. And
I've already been deep in this here. You can skip down a few pages.
Hell yeah.
Most of this is explaining what sort of character concepts are and then what the base abilities are. If you're new to an age system, I'll just run through the main stats real quick. Accuracy, communication, constitution, dexterity, fighting, intelligence, perception, strength, willpower. In this system, they like you to have a character concept as step 1, and step 2 is you start figuring out your abilities. You are looking at a -2 in abilities is terrible, and A 3 is talented. It goes all the way up to 7 potentially, which is the best in the world ever, the best a human could ever do, ever. So those are the kind of modifiers you're looking at in an age game. If it's your first time to the system, you're not really adding more than 3. It's like 7. If it's really crazy, maybe you'll add 7 to your roll. I actually thought that was a nice thing coming into an age system. Easy, simple addition.
Yeah, you're not
3
adding
dice,
a lot of stuff.
easy math.
Yeah, you're doing 3. We didn't cover it because we're so familiar with age, but age is a 3d6 system. 1 dice being usually a different color because that is the drama dice, and you use that for all kinds of things like level of success to generating stunt points, which is a major part of the system. And usually, so if you roll doubles anywhere on your dice, you get the drama dice where the stunt points to spend on cool abilities to do cool things. And that's really the crux of age. But Cthulhu adds a few different things to that. I believe concepts like fear, eldritch magic.
Going into the focuses shows some of the new stuff that they add that's sort of setting specific. The stats are always the same for every age system, but the focuses tend to tell you, to sort of point you in the direction of the way the game's meant to be played, where Fantasy Age might have something like Arcana. The first accuracy focus in Cthulhu Awakens is assault rifles. So you already know what kind of world you're setting yourself up for. These skills, like where another traditional RPG might have like animal handling and different focuses listed already for you to bubble in or figure out how many points you have towards it, the age system is a lot more open in how it lets you approach your focuses. Even the ones it has listed aren't say-all, be-all, end-all focuses. You can always talk to your game master about something else. Should I blaze through them? Does someone want to blaze through them? Or
all the focuses?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of focuses, but we could just pick some high points.
Yeah, just pick some high points. My favorite, I mean, like you said, it starts with assault rifles, but it still has black powder weapons, like muskets and whatnot, in case, that's relevant in your campaign, because you can play different time eras. It is meant... what?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's meant to range from the 1900s all the way to present day, like early 1900s to present day. So there's still a chance to use your old-timey weapons here. And who knows, maybe they have special powers.
Generally, it's like it's not written in stone, but generally isn't it like a 1940s-ish setting?
Well, most Cthulhu games in the past, like Call of Cthulhu, the big one, by Chaosium, it's centered around 1920s, 1940s lore. From just quick glancing over Cthulhu Awakens, they have, if you want to be 1920s, 1940s, like everyone's used to, which is what most of the books are set in, you can do that. But there is this new modern 21st century Cthulhu that's becoming a thing, and that this game kind of tries to make sure you can do both. Or you can choose which one you're doing as a table. That's why they still have a lot of old-timey stuff. But in the same breath, they have computers. That's why in the focus list they have asterisks next to stuff, because some of it wouldn't make sense in a 40s setting. It's like, well, that doesn't exist yet. It's like, well, but black powder, that exists in both. Anyone can get a musket in 1930s or 2030s. Yeah,
especially in like an underdeveloped like rural area, maybe they don't have the best stuff. But yeah, no. That's just one example of the things you can do, but they also have, classic things like investigation and seduction. Those are focuses.
I do like that in the Constitution area is propelling, such as moving a muscle-powered vehicle like a bicycle or rowboat.
Mm-hmm.
I like that too. Yeah, I was actually just looking at propelling too. I was like, that's an interesting skill, for sure. It's
almost something that should be in like every system from now on, just to make people think about bikes and boats.
Yeah, because bikes are unsung for sure, and you could be a bicycle, focused kind of guy.
Bikes and hoes. Yeah, you can. You can be Moomin Rider.
In most fantasy age, that'd be just rowing, and it's like rowing, and we're not gonna make rowing and bicycles propelled, whatever. Like, just let's not make two focuses when you could just, have one and cover everything, because how often are you going to do that, right? I mean, I guess in age you can get bicycles a lot more often than rowing your boat.
Yeah,
depends.
That's a good point.
What if it takes place in a lighthouse? You don't know. I don't know. Could be
good thing
interesting.
I brought my bike.
Be BMX Cthulhu. Yeah,
Just
no.
writing up the side of the lighthouse. It's got anthropology, it's got astronomy, cartography, computers. Like Jahan said, it goes all the way from more or less the 1900s all the way up to the right to the break of the era, more or less.
Yeah, they have all the sciences. They have occultism, forensics, all this kind of stuff.
All the focuses are fluid. You can always make more. You can even ask your game master about using one focus in a different section if you think it makes more sense and the game master approves it. Good for you. Good to go. Age is fluid like that, and it's dope. The next thing you get to in the character creation is the social classes. This is sort of your background and how backgrounds work in Age. This is what informs your character. So I think it's weird that they ask you to create a character concept and then do social classes, but what do I know? I feel like this informs your character concept a lot more.
It can, but you also don't have to roll it. You can just pick.
That's true.
Yeah.
I like to roll mine, though.
I do, too.
I'm a big-time roller.
Yeah, you might have. Well, I've seen different approaches where someone's like, in one story, they're like, I just want to be an adventuring knight. Now, are you a highborn knight or a lowborn knight? Are you a mage of court? Or in this sense, it's like someone that doesn't care what thing you are. But if you are, no, I'm a very important high class person. Okay, you might want to don't roll, just choose.
Yeah, if your character concept is noble.
Breaks without it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this has a role. I like to roll. This is something I find exciting. You get different resources in Age, and that's money. You get different backgrounds, which give you different traits, different abilities. The way it is, it's broken into social class first, which is outsider, lower class, middle class, and upper class. If you roll outsider, if you choose to roll, you can roll between avant-garde, displaced, or exile. If you're lower class, you can be city dweller, laborer, or military. If you're middle class, you're looking at academic, trade, and urbanite. And upper class is aristocratic, corporate, and cosmopolitan.
Yeah, and then once you have that, it goes in. They're going to give you your resource score. And also, it appears that they're giving you points for personal bonds. And in the case of upper class, points for external bonds, which I suppose is different. And then the middle class also has points for regular bonds. So I guess there's several different kinds of bonds you can have. These are interpersonal relationships that you have with people in the world around you. And there's an entire set of rules for this that has become an increasing presence in Age games. I believe it spawned in the Blue Rose system, and it's been adopted by the later systems. So if that's the kind of thing you like, if you like, having NPC bonds and friendships and that kind of thing, it can actually have gameplay mechanics and consequences. So it's definitely interesting, especially those kinds of things I feel are exceptionally important in a horror setting because you need those bonds in order to have the fear of loss. So I definitely see where they're coming from here. After that, it goes to background descriptions, and that's where they're going to drop your, what you just picked, what it means. Like academics, you get additional intelligence, you get a focus of any knowledge focus under intelligence, and you get a talent, which talents are much like feats in Dungeons and Dragons, and, those kinds of things. They give you an actual, power up.
And we'll get to talents.
We're going to get to them. We're going to talk about them, because, Gary's with me here.
It's not next, but talents are another thing that really, those are one of the things that are exciting about an Age system. Once you start looking at the talents and sort of the ways that they expect you to play or the playground that they present you with, that's what separates a lot of these different Age systems. So it's almost exciting to just go straight to the talent section when you open an Age book and see what's going on in the talent section.
The talents definitely inform a lot about the book.
There.
Yeah.
And it's not next. After backgrounds is professions, which it's called instant professions. It's kind of cool what they're doing here, fellas. I don't know if you guys have looked at this yet.
Oh, no, I haven't looked.
Page 48. It looks like you roll the d6 and then roll the d6 again, and it makes your, a 2-word profession, a 2-word what you're up to, what your drive is.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so you roll a d6 to choose your column, So 1 to 3, you get column 1. 4 to 6, you get column 2, and then you roll the d6 on that. There are 12 potential instant professions you can get here with random rolls. They include artist, cleric, explorer, farmer, gangster, investigator, mechanic, merchant, medic, migrant.
6 and a 2. What did I get?
Scholar, soldier. 6 and a 2, you are a merchant. You got 6 gives you column 2, and then the 2 gives you merchant. Which is...
all right. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And then that's also going to give you more focuses. It also apparently gives you talents, so you're going to be getting lots of talents, which is something I really enjoy. I think we all really enjoy about Age, is that the talents give you a lot of cool powers. They have a lot of cool interplay with each other, so you can really get a very specified character very quickly. You don't necessarily have to wait till level 10 or whatever to actually start to see your character form.
I think that's intentional design by Cthulhu Awakens, because like in other Age systems, you get very few. You get some talents, but you get very few talents early on. This one seems to be trying to load you up a bit. I don't know how deadly this game is, but most Cthulhu games are incredibly deadly.
That might be why, yeah.
It's like, you know what, we're gonna give you a nice, a lot of character ready to go. You lose that character, well, that sucks. But at least the new one isn't just starting completely dead. If you do one type stuff. Point. That's my guess, because you're getting a lot of talents out of the gate.
Malcolm Shepard.
When I become merchant. Oh, go ahead.
Malcolm Shepard has joined the chat. What up,
Malcolm?
The main writer of this book is in our chat right now. It's just one profession, but that's similar to an idea I have for a future game, which is what you described earlier, Gary, about the 2-word profession.
Yeah, when I thought it was 2. Yeah,
that's a cool idea. The way those work.
Malcolm was like, I see what you're seeing. I'm thinking what you think. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, what's up, Malcolm? Love you too, buddy. Like, man, we're really excited to dive into this. Been holding on to it. I got my my collector's edition sitting by, and it's good times, man. And we're gonna have you come play or something with us sometime for sure. So come check us out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so I think it's dope. I rolled merchant. And so I went to go see what it was. And like Corbinian said, you grab another talent here, you pick another one up. Bootlegger is one of the talents. And so there's a character concept right there I hadn't considered that seems like a lot of fun. I would love to be a bootlegger. I love driving, and I love selling booze. I'm about it. So it's always these kinds of things that give you flavor as you're going through, that gives you extra points for the book. I like to be inspired while I'm reading.
Yeah, definitely. It helps inform your character, and it makes bootlegger. That's so era specific. That's it gets you into the 1920s. You know what I mean? It really puts you there.
After that is drives, and drives is a really similar thing where you roll 2d6 and you get 1 out of one of the columns. Why don't you roll the 2d6, John, and I'll tell you what you got this time.
Alrighty, I got a 6 and a 2, just like you.
That's exactly what I got.
That's exactly what you got.
That's hilarious. So 6 is column 2, and a 2, you're penitent.
Hell yeah, I like penitent characters. That's fun for me.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm a masochist. I love being guilty and stuff. I should have been Catholic. That's what I find out about myself.
This is cool. I don't just want to jump straight to yours. Every single drive has its own quality and downfall, and they're all different. Every single one of them is different. So if you're an achiever, your quality is ambition, your downfall is obsession. If you're a builder, your quality is organization, your downfall is stubbornness. A caregiver, your quality is compassion, your downfall is self-sacrifice. It goes on and on. These are sick. I like this.
Yeah, and I would like to show off this character on whatever page this is next to the leader judge area. Looks a lot like John Constantine, and I like it. It makes me happy. It looks like he has something going on with his left hand, which is pretty cool. I don't know, man.
It's looking a little cyberpunky. You're not wrong.
It's looking a little maybe
Mechano hand.
A mechano hand, or it's possible even that it's some sort of grafted flesh part. But yeah, it looks really interesting there. Love the art.
Hate the tie. Love the rest of it.
No, I really like these qualities and downfalls. It really sets you up for cool roleplay moments, which is the most important part of any core book.
Earlier, when we were talking about backgrounds, I was saying that they come with different amounts of resources. Resources are what you use to buy things in some of the age systems. Modern Age as well works the same way. Fantasy Age works with gold. Yeah. So you do a resource test. This step 6 here is where you get your resources and equipment, and you do a resource test that reflects your cost, reflects what you have to start with in your money. Jahan's a big fan of buying stuff out of the gate, I believe. And, I'm okay starting with packages, but Jahan likes to spend some money and get some custom stuff.
I do.
I've played games with him for a long time, and he always comes to the table with some very funny things you wouldn't expect that he spends his gold on. So I'm a big fan of him getting to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And resource score is like Gary was saying, in a lot of the age games, instead of having like, oh, you have this much GP, like you have this much gold, you have a resource score, like he was saying, that you can test with. And when you're testing with it, it can deplete your score, so your score gets lower. So you're only ever dealing with like numbers 1 through 10 when it comes to money. And so it's just, I feel, a more efficient system, and it stops people from like doing accounting at the table. Which I feel is definitely a plus.
It's
I
also.
think it, okay.
Go ahead, Corbinian.
I was just going to say that one thing that resources, I've seen systems like this, especially modern settings, like D20 Modern back in the day with the wealth system. It's the same idea where if you're talking about fantasy adventures running around with silver pieces and gold pieces, that's pretty easy to count. It's not hard to know you have so many hundreds of gold or so many hundreds of copper. But in a modern age, we're thinking bank accounts, credit cards, cash, gemstones, offshore accounts, mortgaging your house. It's like, it's a very nebulous, because like, well, how much money now? How much money do I have on me? I have not a lot.
That's a good
I get
point.
more if I had time.
Yeah, for a modern setting, finances just become too
modern age
complicated. Yeah,
Norm had a 9 finance in modern age, and I just didn't ever use it because I was like, it seems cheesy. It seems cheesy. I can buy it. The answer is yes, I can buy it. It seems really, really cheesy to me. I almost like counting the money, but like you said, it is what it is. And the reason I had that was because I was a super high-class government agent, and I kept spending my money in government funds. I had black budget funds. I just wasn't spending them because I felt bad about it.
Yeah,
well, there was the one time when I was like, I'm going to buy a VTOL, and Jahan's like, do you have money to buy a VTOL? And I was like, oh, yeah.
Boom,
VTOL.
Well, that's your superpower, though, right? If you're a very rich character, even my character in a much smaller way in the current Fantasy Age game we're doing, he started with a lot of gold compared to everyone else. It's like, yeah, that's because he's noble born. That's one of his few perks, is that he has a lot of money to start with. So same thing. And they even have like in this system, they seem to have like certain automatic successes. You're supposed to roll for everything because bad luck could happen, but if it's underneath a certain resource amount, the GM can just go, don't worry about it. Like you can't abuse it. Like the GM should probably go, I don't think you should get 1 million rolls of toilet paper. I know it's big for your thing, but no, there's not that much toilet paper in the entire tri-state area. Go away.
Yeah, that's fair. No, yeah, I agree with modern finances are very complicated, and Malcolm says that once he thought of student loans, using real money just went out the window. So I get it. It definitely simplifies things. But after resources, you get to your derived stats, so you're going to get to your health, defense, toughness, speed. We don't really need to go into that too much.
Yeah, I was going to say not to be that guy, but blah, blah, blah. Let's
talk about the bonds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm on the same page, Doc. Same page. Bonds represent your character's special ties to other characters, ideals, obsessions, and more. So it doesn't just have to be to a person. It can also be to ideologies and organizations and whatnot.
We were reading that each of these bonds is different for each background as well, right?
Yes. Well, it's just that the backgrounds start with different kinds of bonds, but you can have all of them, I believe.
Okay.
And the difference is external bonds. External bonds represent a largely involuntary influence on your character. This may be used to generate stunt points for stunts that you put your character at a disadvantage. Though in the rare situation, the game master may use them for the benefit of the character. External bond, yeah. So it's stuff that's happening outside of your control. Usually, personal bonds are largely beneficial and represent a character's attitudes towards particular people, beliefs, or social and psychological situations. So
That's
those
not
are
what I thought these were going to be at all. These are more not nebulous, but they're more abstract, and which I think makes
they can range from abstract to more grounded. Absolutely, like it could be the relationship with you and your mother, or it can be the horrible psychological torture she put you through. You know, like it could be either of those things, and
That's fun. This is fun.
yeah, and very necessary for this level of horror when it comes to this kind of
things
thing.
I really like that make me excited are the terror bond for external,
Ooh.
and then like enlightenment bond for personal. Because terror bonds, from my understanding, is that reach of some great otherworldly cosmic horror that's messing with you. It's like no, Azathoth knows you exist. That's not good. It's like I'm bonded with that. Maybe it'll be nice to me. Most of the time it won't.
See, that's the kind of thing we actually should read because it's so pertinent to this to the setting. So
we'll get to it, but that's way down in chapter 4.
Oh, it doesn't explain it right here?
They talk about a little bit.
Oh, okay.
What terror bond is and stuff. But also on the other hand, the personal bond of enlightenment, where you might usually a lot of Cthulhu games, it's about when you learn about the Cthulhu mythos, some monster, some secret of the world. It is terrifying and it drives people nuts or makes them act crazy, as it were. But sometimes you need to know that to stop the bad thing from happening. You need to know, how did this big evil thing get sealed up in the first place? So they actually have, I like the enlightenment bond, where it's like, oh, this might actually be kind of helpful to a degree. You're still weird because everyone's going to think you're talking out of your butt. Like, yeah, the color blue is the secret to saving the world. What are you talking about? We don't have that enlightenment bond, so we don't know what you're talking about.
This next part makes me want to kiss somebody on the mouth. I don't know if it's Malcolm or who in the Green Ronin squad here, but the next page is the level advancements. And in Fantasy Age, whenever you're trying to level up, you have to go here and there and back and forth and down and up and left and right, because there are 3 classes or 4 classes now, and the 4 classes level differently. It can be a pain when you're leveling and you go, all right, guys, what do I get at this level? Because you get different things. Here, all the same, the backgrounds, all the same class and professions and stuff. We're all different. We're different but the same, and we level up the same. To get to my point, I will kiss you on the mouth because we level up the same. Thank you. Thank you for not making level advancement difficult. Page 56 is level advancement.
Oh, boy.
It's as straightforward as it can be.
It is, but I just read there's a cool sidebar here I'm going to show people at home. Open advancements. This is a cool thing I like. So a Cthulhu Awakens game will often drive characters to learn new skills in response to the situation before them, especially if they need to unlock the mythos' secret. You can decide that one of your advancements is open, meaning you haven't assigned it to anything yet. The advantage to this is that if it's necessary to learn something, you have an advancement free to do so. Though the game master should tell you how much time it takes to learn the ability focus or talent in question. If the GM allows you may even have a retroactively learned trait beforehand. You can declare, it just so happens I've been brushing up on ancient languages. So it's like it's like holding an action, but you're holding a level, which I think that's a really cool optional rule.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I do like that.
I like fun things like that. It's really cool because sometimes like a character has inspiration in the middle of a fight, and it's like they pick up that sword for the first time and they're actually pretty good with it,
Bro, I've seen an anime. You always do your move during the fight. You don't learn your move after the fight. You learn it right before the end of the fight.
Yeah, Gohan only does open advancements. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, most anime really. It's like if you're gonna do your big finishing attack, you didn't just learn that. You just busted it out. You've been learning it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Next is talents. We told you guys we were going to talk about talents.
Yay!
We'll talk about talents. Page 58 is where we get into talents for this system. Corbinian, you see any talents down there that catch your eye? Anything that looks exciting in the system for you that's more Cthulhu specific?
Hilariously bookworm, but because you always need to read. But like things like Dreamer is good. Inhuman Legacy is kind of scary.
Ooh, I like that. So a preamble here. Age system talents. They work a lot like feats, but they have levels to them. So you can take talents more than once, and you can advance from novice to expert to master in a talent. So I just want to let people know that is part of this. So each level
It's
gives you
kind of like
different
taking
powers.
the same passive skill 3 times. You take a passive and then a better version of that passive and then an even better version of that passive.
And
but
Yes.
you don't lose the steps in between.
Correct.
And the good thing is that you can, and I think it's true of any age system, is that you can go into one talent and go like, you know what, I only need the first level of that talent. I don't want the rest of it. I just wanted to dabble, and then I quickly go over this way.
Yeah, you take novice and affluent and then never touch it again, and it's pretty cool. But the master abilities are very strong, so there's
Very strong.
there's a way to this. But yeah, so you're going to be getting things like affluent, bootlegger, bookworm, brawling styles, contacts, emergency care, that kind of stuff. But you're also going to get strange things like this one is very Cthulhu, and I would totally take this in a game. It's called Dreamer. Lucid dreaming is just the beginning. Through training or natural aptitude, you've learned to make your dreams part of a fully realized alternate universe, some of which is your own creation. So that's just a talent. And it gives you this profound dreaming ability, which is very cool. And I appreciate it.
I actually noticed one of those things earlier. Not the bonds, but maybe it was the bonds that can be like external things that are bad or whatever that we just read about. I saw that one of those was being rapidly awoken from the dream world will mess you up.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
So if you're a dreamer, you're putting yourself at risk of getting just absolutely.
Oh yeah, being a
tortured.
dreamer is very dangerous in Cthulhu Awakens.
Well, not just being a dreamer, but even being awake. So you're giving yourself an extra danger.
Yeah,
I like that, man.
absolutely. But you have weird stuff, like hard case, Inhuman Legacy, like you're talking about. I want to look at this. I'm gonna take a look at this. Ooh, you've inherited strange traits through your family line. Do you have a pre-human ancestor? And so the examples of the Inhuman Legacies you can take are aquatic, climber, inhuman armor, inhuman reach, weapon, low light vision, that kind of stuff. So these are mutations that come from some strange genetic heritage, which is very cool. So the level of fantasy of this can range. Like, you can, you know what I mean? Like, you can have a fairly normal party, or you can have a guy with gills in your party. So, it's got a little bit of all that.
Non-Euclidean prodigy is a good one, too. Space and time meet at strange angles imperceptible to the mind's eye. There are secret mathematics to the cosmos that was never meant for the human mind to comprehend, yet you do. Like, oh yeah, that's a character right there.
Hell.
Oh, I just need some rerolls of my intelligence mathematics. Wait, why would I ever need that? Serious stare from the GM. Don't worry. You'll need it. Like, no. Why is that important? Don't worry, you'll get it later.
This is one of my favorite talent descriptions. It's called Living on the Fringe, and it's just one short sentence. You haunt the edges of mainstream society. That's it's a great description of living on the fringe.
But there are normal stuff too, like pistol style, rifle style observation. So you still have, if you don't want to be diving headfirst into the mythos and all that it's out of the gate, you can be a regular person.
Being a regular person,
some people do builds like that.
Being a regular, like a hard-nosed gumshoe, like that is completely valid for Cthulhu Awakens and fun.
Yeah, but you could also be stranded in time or have a strange inheritance.
I just saw Stranded in Time. I'm like, you can just take that? What is that? That's awesome. Oh,
Why'd you do that to yourself?
So cool. Then after
That's
that,
what I was saying. If you see an age book in a store, you pick it up and you flip to the talents. That's what you do.
Yeah, and then there are specializations on top of that, which I think are kind of like prestige classes, kind of like specialties.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain it. You're exactly right.
So it's like...
explain what prestige classes are for people who never played 3.5.
Yeah, that's true. So in old Dungeons & Dragons editions, you could take a subclass on top of your regular class, and it was different than the current like Ranger Beastmaster subclasses. It was something that you had to hit prerequisites for, and it was just a whole different thing. But in this instance, you're essentially... getting your class for the first time in this system when you get a specialization, because you don't really have one. But you can also take multiple specializations at different levels. So like it's things like academic, agent, antiquarian, which is, you know, like an antiquer, cultist. Those are the different, like, field researchers, hunters, that kind of stuff. It's really cool. And these range
Don't
from
forget
novice.
Gangster, and sorcerer.
Oh,
Those
sorcerer, that's fun. These range from novice to expert, master, grandmaster, and apex. So these have more levels than the talents, which is something I don't believe I've seen in Age yet. This is the first time they've done that.
I also don't think I've seen that.
Although, alternatively, I'm not. There's probably a build out there for this, but this is something I've seen in the more newer Age games where specializations aren't required. You can only take them at even levels, so you can't take them every level. It takes time to level up a specialization. Yeah. But you could, in theory, at your specialization level, go, you know what? I want more normal talents. I have a certain build I want to do with the regular stuff. Or, you know what? I have the one specialization I want. I've already hit apex of that. I'm good. I don't want another one. But okay, you don't have to.
So there is some option there, which is always, the more options, the better in TTRPGs usually. It's usually always a plus.
But pro tip, please take a specialization, please.
Yeah, definitely take one.
You get so much cool power.
You're gonna want one for sure. But yeah, so oh, good.
Oh, sorry.
No,
the last thing I was going to say was that in this one, specializations have prerequisites. I mean, a lot of talents have them as well, but specializations have even bigger ones. So I think that's the other half of it. It's a necessary evil of, well, if you don't qualify for any specialization, which could happen, then it's like, well, I guess you don't bank it. You just kind of, I mean, you could, I suppose. You could say that's my advancement that I'm banking as my open until I can qualify for it later. Or you go, you know what, I'll just take a normal one. I'll worry about that 2 levels. I'll worry about my specialization 2 levels from now. I'm not there yet. Or I don't even know which one I want to take. I'll just take a regular talent for now.
Yeah, very true, very true. You can always postpone your levels in this game, which is cool.
I do have bad news for you guys.
Oh, no.
It's the end of the character. It's the end of the character creation section, so I don't know what goes on in these kinds of games after that.
The rules go on. The core system, we're going to tap into a little bit of it for sure, just to see how this differs from other Age systems. But like I was saying before, you're going to be rolling 3d6. You're going to add usually your ability and a focus if it's applicable. Focuses typically will give you +2 to your roll if you have black powder focus. Then a musket's going to get a +2 from that. Then you have to consider the stunt die, test results, and all that good stuff. There's opposed rules, the standard kind of things that they would cover in this kind of thing. Here's the target numbers, so you can see what kind of numbers you're looking at here. A routine test is going to be a 7. An epic test is going to be a 21. And that's, you know, the example they give is replicating alien technology in a home workshop. That's very difficult. So, you know, it runs the gamut, truly. And then degree of success is something I was talking about. Usually that's going to be based on the drama dice. On a successful test, you'll add that number to a pool, and you're going to have a target number that you're trying to hit, usually. That kind of thing. But these are, if you're familiar with Age, you're familiar with a lot of these. I want to see the Cthulhu rules. Because I know they added some stuff.
One thing to point out, I glossed over it earlier, and I just caught it now because it highlighted it in a sidebar. When you level, you don't get health.
Ooh,
Whatever health you start with, that's your health.
Well,
forever.
I found the next answer you're looking for also as to how lethal it is, which is really funny because it's pages and pages down. Page 88, simple defeat. Any NPC or creature the Game Master allows can simply be killed instantly upon being reduced to 0 health, or otherwise defeated in some fashion, such as knocked out for a long, inconvenient time, or utterly rerouted, and it's unnecessary to track what happens afterwards. So it is up to your Game Master if you're dead, or if that's a good time to change the scene.
Yeah.
You get knocked out a window and fall into a hay bale or something. Like, you're out of the fight, don't worry about it.
But yeah, I love that. It's like, each and every one of us could go to 0 health and then we wake up in a ballroom or something, So it doesn't necessarily mean a party wipe doesn't mean that we all die. It just almost certainly means that.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a good thing in a system like this, that it's open to interpretation. I don't like hard, yes, you're dead, no, you're not dead rules, typically. They still have combat stunts. They still have all the good conditions that you would expect. I just got to the part that you guys were talking about where you're dying. Ooh, they have velocity classes.
Yeah, there's a nice little table there for vehicles. It's beautiful.
Good vehicle rules is important in a 1920s gumshoe game.
Yeah, especially if I'm a bootlegger, because I'm driving.
Yeah, you're the one that invented NASCAR, right? They say it was
100%.
They say it was to run liquor across the border, but really it was to escape from eldritch horror.
Just drive left; they'll never catch us.
That is a good story. I'll run. We can do that. We're about to run a game, so I'll make it happen, buddy. They got interaction rules, all that good stuff. Here it is.
Vehicle combat stunts, my man. They definitely want me to be a driver.
Oh, cool. Vehicle combat stunts.
Yeah,
Hell yes.
Whenever we play this campaign, John, put us in a town that we have to move around, like Chicago, old Chicago or something. So I can drive
Old
around.
Chicago is an excellent Cthulhu setting. I gotta say. So I'm on chapter 4, Glory and Fear. You gotta take a look at that picture. That's horrifying.
So everyone do a sanity roll out there, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, you might have to do a sanity roll on this one. But this is some more Cthulhu stuff.
She took her face off.
She took her face off. This is all talking about stunts and stuff, though.
Hey, stunts are important.
Stunts are important. Stunts are great. Stunts are H.
Alienation is where we get into this game's version of sanity loss. And
there we go. Alienation. That's exactly what Yep, found it. So these are the rules for when you encounter the horrors and your mind begins to shatter. Contrary to the obscure but present beliefs of the occult fringe, encountering mythos entities, reading texts that convincingly upend the supposed laws of reality, and confronting dark miracles of sorcery, or witnessing alien gods do not drive you mad, at least not in the conventional sense. Madness is usually used as a casual term for mental illness, a phenomenon that is partly neurological, partly social. And so this is an explainer as to why they don't use that term, because it's, derogatory to people with mental illness. So they use alienation. And
also it's more accurate.
It's more accurate.
Lore-wise.
Yeah.
Lore-wise, it makes more sense. It's like you're not really mad. You're just that.
I can tell you guys, as somebody with mental health disorder and neurodivergent, madness is way different than having your mind infected by a deep space alien. It's not like that for me. Instead, it's like bad crying all the time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's good that they make that distinction too. You have to be sensitive when you're talking about these kinds of issues. Oh, Malcolm Shepard's telling us we need to look at magic, and we will. I am very curious about the magic of this system because I know it's here. But yeah, alienation. Sources of alienation can range from entities to visitations and phenomena. And all of those are going to generate different tests. So entities, you have to make a willpower courage check. Visitations, willpower face. That means your gods mean nothing when the other gods come, breaking your faith with their undeniable, terrible reality. So I like that. And well, you guys might still be able to hear me. It just popped
back within,
and then it comes back within 20 seconds.
All set up, and he apologizes.
Yep, absolutely. I am here, and I actually think that the chat can still hear me. When that happens, we lose all picture, which is exciting. So, haha! Take that, Jahan. This is what you get for whatever crimes you've committed. My crimes.
I will say that one thing I like. This is one of the few one of the few age systems that really shoots at willpower. Like fantasy games will shoot at willpower to kind of to resist spells or something. But things like willpower, courage, I don't see that often unless you're really thinking about enemy morale and stuff. Whereas in Cthulhu Awakens, it's like no. Willpower becomes every kind of focus for willpower becomes very important because you're low willpower, you start seeing stuff, it starts affecting you a lot more than someone who's high willpower. But then in the same token, it's like, but now you might not have the same relationship with these alien things.
Yeah.
Than the other guy does, who is speaking in colors and has the answer to your problem, but you don't know what he's talking about, but he does. So we'll go that way, I guess. Mind the gibbering.
There are also revelations, which is willpower, self-discipline, and then there are alienation tests. Anything that triggers an alienation test will ordinarily list the type of willpower test based on its source. And so there's also this whole alienation. I'll show it on the stream. Alienation target numbers and immunities. So
I found the magic.
You found the magic. I was hoping you would look for it. But yeah, alienation tests are going to be a big part of this. It's a lot like fear. It's a lot like corruption in the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game. And so it's got that great Cthulhu flavor, and that's what we're here for. So,
speaking of Cthulhu flavor, I found the magic.
Where's the magic?
May I direct everybody's attention to page 124, and then scroll down. 125 really is where it starts. Angular travel, of course, it's a geometry skill, and just reading the flavor, right? We were just starting with the flavor and how much the flavor is important. The angular travel spell. The hounds of Tindalos perceive time as a visible dimension, allowing them to move through time just as they move into angled space. Geometry practitioners have adapted this perception to allow time travel, although this working theoretically provides full access to time travel to any desired point. In practice, few sorcerers are capable of the mathematical precision to travel further than a few days.
Excellent.
That's the first spell, dude. That's the first
thing. So
that's the first thing.
This chapter is called Revelations, and these are, and then chapter 5 is called Fools Call It Magic, which I do appreciate that title, because what Gary described is not magic; it's math. You're going to get into Eldritch workings, invoking Eldritch powers. And
automated tutor, first invented by an Egyptian researcher in the 1890s. Sorcerers believed this working copied memories from a donor into a new mind. 21st century scientists often postulate that automated tutor electromagnetically stimulates the growth of new neural pathways. It keeps going. That's just like the first two sentences. It's like 3 paragraphs of spell description. I'm in right here. These spells are sick nasty. And my pants are all dirty because of this.
There's also, I noticed, an extra section here, Eldritch Professions. You can start the game with your profession being in the occult, which is pretty, having a small amount of magical aptitude, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually a special thing. You have to have Game Master permission to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That way, not everybody starts as a sorcerer.
Unless that's your story. Like, okay, you're a bunch of sorcerers and things are getting even worse than you ever thought they're going to be. You just thought you're going to be the next Hogwarts. Guess what?
With Game Master permission. That would be actually really fun to think you were in the next Hogwarts.
And then it's actually horrible Cthulhu stuff. God, yeah, I would watch the shit out of that remake of Harry Potter.
That sounds fun.
You guys want to do? Oh man, maybe we'll do that. There's also something called Eldritch Praxis, which I actually remember Malcolm talking about this in the original Green Ronin roundtables that we got to listen in on. Praxis is a word meaning putting a theory to work. In Cthulhu Awakens, a praxis is a category that contains multiple eldritch workings bound together by common effects of mechanisms. And so you can take praxis. Each praxis benefits. Each praxis is considered a talent of its own and provides the following benefits. There are no prerequisites for a praxis beyond the arduous, dangerous aspects of studying one. So they have novice, expert, and master. They have praxis focuses, all this stuff. And And the praxes are artifice, geometry, like what you were talking about, the magical geometry, morphics, which is humanity may be a little more than a chemical adjacent manipulated chemical accident manipulated for the amusement of alien invaders, but it possesses the self-organization power of all life and the ability to reshape worlds. So that's just one small little whisper of these praxes. And then, yeah, you start getting into the castings, which is what you were talking about, and trappings. There's a lot of stuff going in here with this magic system, and it is not like Modern Age, and it is not like Fantasy Age. This is a very different animal we're looking at here.
Yeah, I love that they hung on to the bits like it's like there's not mana points in that sense. Like no, but like in any good Cthulhu mythos, yes, you can cast a spell. One, don't fail the roll. Please don't fail the roll, because then the GM will pick on us. Oh, you made the roll. Oh, that's nice. Do an alienation roll. What alienation? I'm the one who did it. Yes, you're breaking the laws of physics. You're morphing Ted over there to not have a bullet hole in his chest.
Yeah, you're
that's
touching,
freaky, dude.
You're touching the bad stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, and so there's also going to be Eldritch stunts to go along with these, which are very exciting. And then a great section called Eldritch Working Consequences, which can range from minor to moderate and to major. There are also, you can abandon and run away from workings, but there are rules for that. Apparently, once you start doing some of these workings, it's not a simple matter of saying, never mind, I changed my mind. So there's real depth in this magic system. I'm here for it because I'm a big fan of magic.
Yeah, this magic seems nightmarish in all the best ways.
It is complicated and complex, but it's like it kind of supposed to be, because that's usually either you, the caster, have to go through all this rigmarole to do something really cool, or the bad guys are doing something, you want to stop them.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it's not as easy as a quick cast. It's like, no, there's this whole thing they need to do. So
one thing I think we've all grown to like about Age is how streamlined it is and how simple it is, and it's not necessarily a crunchy system. So putting a really crunchy magic system into a streamlined, clean system actually works pretty well. I'm kind of excited about it.
Man, I couldn't have said that better myself, man. That's a really good point. Like, it really does click. Because they're throwing things in, like, I'm reading what trappings are. So trappings are simply like spell components. The trappings for angular travel, you need polarized sunglasses, one red smoke grenade, and a crystal ball. You know what I mean? Like, they're bringing that kind of stuff into it.
The trappings are a lot of fun, and it's like that with every single spell. It's not just a handful. They just go for it.
There's a lot of them here. Yeah, they really go for it. They're all in depth. They all have, like, what they do, what they feel like, what they cause. They really get into it, and I love it. This is one of the best spell sections I've seen in a while.
It could end there, Jahan. It certainly could, but does it?
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. It goes into psychic spells. If you go down, keep going down 143, 144, you get into the psychic disciplines.
I'm so happy.
You get into things like cryokinesis. You get into things like empathy and projecting emotion, extrasensory perception, all sorts of stuff. Psychic projection, pyrokinesis, telekinesis, the list goes on. So even when you're done with magic, there's still more magic to be had.
A couple points real quick. I'm a bit louder than you guys, so I'll turn that down a little bit. Thank you, Alric. Just had a little bit of a conversation. There, is that? I hope that's better. I hope I'm a little quieter now. But yeah, Malcolm Shepard, writer of this game, says, also, if you change your mind and stop casting, sometimes the working just casts itself. So, against your will, which is really cool. Eric Jackson, thank you for the resubscribe. And one of Malcolm's favorites is called Dark Twin, because Dark Twin can make its own Dark Twin. And that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
The one I saw just now that piqued my interest was called Shape Flesh. but we shall jump down towards psychic disciplines, you're saying?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. That's the next section. Once you get out of those more eldritch spells, you get into psychic disciplines, which is all of the different kinesises you could think of. And that leads into dreamland stuff. But the kinesis is, you're looking at telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, cryokinesis, all of it. All the things that you want to be there are there.
Excelente. Hell yeah. And then, so the psychic stunts, price effects. So there can be, make a price test. In addition to making the power test, the psychic must make a price test to determine whether attempting to use their power causes them physical or mental strain. Very cool. What else is there? Yeah, like you said, cryokinesis right off the back. Oh, excellent artwork here of cryokinesis. Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I'm going to show a little bit of this. I'm not going to scroll through the whole book for you guys, but yeah. Psychic projection, classic. But wait, there's more, Gary? You said? What are we looking
at? And then
at?
there's a whole spell section where it comes out of your blood. No, that's it. After the psychics is the last part. Then you start getting into dream world stuff.
Exactly. So there is something here. This section is called Daring the Dreamlands. This first section is called Entering the Dreamlands, Awareness, Synchronization, and First Steps. All very tantalizing terminology here. Very exciting. Ooh, Eric Jackson just recently received their copy of Cthulhu Awakens. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. We like what we're seeing, so.
Yeah, we do. From here, let me be that guy again. Remember earlier when we were talking about derived stats and we did a quick blah, blah, blah? You can actually, this is all equipment. And so there's some cool equipment in there, but we don't need to talk about every piece of equipment and every cost of equipment. So you can actually blah, blah, blah from where you're at in the Dreamlands all the way down to page 176. There are some magic items in there. There's some cool guns and stuff to see, but mostly you can browse through those pages until you get to a section called Secrets, where I don't know if I should actually look at that or not, because when it comes to these kinds of games, I may not want to know.
Let me take a look. As the game master, I'll give it a look. There is a section called Artifacts.
Yeah, those are magic items, and then there's some. I think is it druidic texts after that. There's some magic texts after that. Some more magic stuff.
There's the Spear of the Great Old Ones. What's the page of the thing you're saying?
Artifacts start 190.
Secrets.
Secrets.
Secrets can be fun, and secrets can hurt someone. Check it out. That's a good picture right there. Oh boy, that's harrowing. Yeah. Harrowing to gaze upon. Yeah,
that's where you stop as a player, and you said maybe that's for the game master. I don't want to wind up like that.
Mastering the mythos. Yeah. It's all the how to run the game.
Best thing about Call of Cthulhu has always been the adventures. How easy would it be to run them in Cthulhu Awakens? I'm not sure how easy the transfer would be. I imagine that you could pull the meat off of those bones and use the story and translate it fairly easily, because Cthulhu Awakens isn't overly complicated, and it has enough flexibility to be able to do something like that. There are rules about Arkham Horror and stuff in this book here, Mr. Kapow, as well. But yeah, mastering the mythos, invoking the rules. Did you find anything cool about Secrets yet? Oh, you didn't want to read it, right?
I'm scrolling. No, I just started reading it now that you're in there. I muted. Oh no.
No, you're not.
Oh, there.
I went to check.
This is a fun picture right here with these creepy mer people. I like this.
It actually looks like Game Master advice in here.
It does.
Is what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's how to Game Master. Appears to be.
It does appear to be. Then there's deeper descriptions of bonds. I believe we were saying something about the protocols of fear in here. Toxic atmospheres. So there's a lot of, this is definitely a lot of Game Master stuff that you don't necessarily need to know.
Does it go straight from Secrets? Oh, it just says Secrets, but the chapter is called Mastering the Mythos.
Those things you're calling out, like Secrets and Seekers, that's the name of that particular art piece. So secrets are based. This
I
is
like
what
the
secrets
art.
look like. This is what Revelation.
They've
looks like.
been going so well together that it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah. And then here's a cool thing. We were talking about, like, you don't need to be an expert, but if you want to learn about Cthulhu, here is a catered list of references and inspirations. Key stories by H.P. Lovecraft, fiction from other writers, comics, movies and television, and role-playing games. Very
absolute ass load of monsters for you in here, Jahan.
Are there? I love that.
Just an absolute ass load.
I love that.
The benefits
the
of looking
art
into
on
a
them.
fiction with a lot of monsters. Like, don't worry, we have to figure out how these things are. It's just a Hound of Tintalos. Like, that's still kind of scary. It's like, it's. It's Amigo.
I also appreciate this section, the problem with Howard, where they describe what a monster H.P. Lovecraft was, and that only his work is to be praised. He was a terrible piece of shit. So that's a fun section to put in the book. I like that. Then there's safety play rules, and then you said, God's Best Forgotten. Yeah, that's the section here, and look at that picture once again. Beautiful. It invokes chills, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, just scroll through there and get a look at some of those gods over there. On
As
the left, man. They're just
Nalothrothrep. Should I say these out loud? Or
no, don't say all those. Out
Yog Suf. Oh shit!
my God.
What's
Don't
happening?
say them in order.
Yeah, no, these are sick. Yeah, it's got. So it has
Those,
several page
the monsters-
breakdowns of many of the big beasts.
And they start to run into adventures there, and it starts to run into maps. So that's when I hit close, because that's when it gets to Game Master territory. But I gotta tell you guys, I love the look of this book.
The art's really good.
I do. I can easily say this is my favorite age book to date. So far, this has been so the artwork stunning. The word choice is very good and easy to understand. It's even in these complex topics. The rules have been changed just enough to just be really, really cool. Cian wrote some amazing things about the genre there. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to read this whole thing from front to back. Man, a lot of really cool people worked on this book. And Malcolm's talking about some of them in the chat. I'm catching up in the chat. It exploded with Eric talking about stuff, Mr. Kapow, and Malcolm Shepard. All talking about their love of Cthulhu. But yeah, this is definitely a love story to Cthulhu mythos. It is wonderful, engaging, frightening, and gives you all the tools you need to, I feel, have a really deep experience in this genre. And I really
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of baked-in flavor that sort of points your characters in the right direction. I'm excited to give it a play, and as a guy who's not really, I wouldn't describe myself as a Cthulhu guy at all, but this looks great. It looks like a lot of fun to play, and I want to be a spellcaster, 100%.
That's all. Those are all things I wasn't
hear-
sure I would hear you say, man. Those are.
You don't hear me say that. You never hear me say I want to be a spellcaster coming out of the gate.
I'm honestly really excited for that.
So still about Green Ronin, but not about Cthulhu. You said this is one of your favorite age books to date, maybe your favorite age book to date. So it made me just want to share mine too. Was it Settlements of the Expanse, or the one that added the settlements?
That is Beyond
Ring.
the Ring. Yeah.
Beyond the Ring. That's my favorite. That's my favorite one. So
That's
far. I
a
love
good
Beyond the
one.
Ring.
That is a good one. Hey, and you can get all those books and more at greenroninstore.com using our code FRESHOUTTHEBOX at checkout to get 5% off anything, including physical books in the store. Our channel gets a little support from that, so check that out for sure. And it just makes us look good as brand ambassadors. So check it out. Corbinian, what were your thoughts on this book?
It does feel one of the things I was initially worried about with Age and Cthulhu, because whenever I see a lot of Cthulhu role-playing games and stuff like that, usually it's the feeling is that you are a very small thing against a very incredibly strange universe that humanity does not understand, and if they screw up, they will get crushed horribly. And frankly, the old gods don't care. But the interesting part of those stories is that, to me, is that struggle. So Age, in a lot of other systems, whether it's modern or fantasy age or another such, they're very cinematic, very narrative, very. Whereas this one kind of still has that. It's still, it even calls out, it's pulpy, but they're purposely leaning into gritty. If you want it to be a lot more cinematic and out there, and you want to be able to punch Cthulhu in the face and live to talk about it, there's ways to do that. But by default, I like how they've done this, because it's still Cthulhu enough that it feels like the universe is out to kill you, but soft enough that's like, well, this is still Age. This is an adventure game engine. So it's about that. If Cthulhu hits you with a tentacle, you're not instantly dead. It's like, well, no, but it still hurts. You're still going to not want to go up there and punch him too often. It's not like Delta Green can kind of be like that, where you can actually shoot a lot of things and blow things up a lot. And, can you do that here? You can, but it's like, Oh, and I like they didn't underserve the magic. Like, magic is in Cthulhu has always been that level of.
That's big for me too in this setting. I need the Eldritch. Yeah, I need the Eldritch secrets to be cool. Thank you for the bits, Eric Jackson. So this has been Cthulhu Awakens from Green Ronin. Special thanks to the lead developer, Malcolm Shepard, for being in the chat, fielding some questions.
I love that Malcolm has just been lurking in the shadows. We didn't ask him to be here.
No, he came because he's a great guy, and we really, really appreciate it.
It makes me think that Malcolm is just always lurking in the shadows. I'm worried now.
Yeah, no, it was nice that he noticed we were talking about his game, and he came, and I greatly appreciate that, Malcolm. Thank you so much. This book, man, you did something here that's very special.
Do you think he watches me while I'm at work also? Or
I hope so, because you can listen to Eric on Kate House, The Thunder.
I'm not Eric.
Sorry, I read the name Eric as I was talking.
Yeah, Kate's house. Kate's house is the guys who I got a cease and desist from, and they told me that I'm not allowed to say anything.
You work for the Thunder, Gary. I was riffing.
105.5.
I'm sorry, I was riffing.
Whatever, dude. You did your best.
I did my best, and my best was inefficient. So yeah, I was awoken from my sinister slumber, also chilling after teaching a martial arts class. Excellent.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so this is Big Cthulhu Awakens from Green Ronin Publishing. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. Like I said, use the code Fresh Out the Box. You can get all kinds of goodies. I'm not sure if you can get the special edition anymore, hardcover with the velvet and the smooth gold, but I got mine. So next time, check it out.
If you're willing to slide into my DMs and pay me $2,000, I'll give you Jahan's address, and you can go to his.
You can come fight me to the death for my copy of Cthulhu Awakens. Yeah, see, it is shiny, Eric. It's beautiful. I love it, and it feels mildly erotic. So thank you so much for watching. This has been Fresh Out the Box Talks About Cthulhu Awakens from Green Ronin Publishing. I have been the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Jahananon.
It's me, Casualty CDG, co-host of Fresh Out the Box and Fresh Out the Podcast. Find us here every Thursday and Friday doing tabletop role-playing game stuff. Check out our podcast. We do it on Tuesdays, and I haven't been on for the past Tuesdays because I'm just playing Forza and doing nothing with my life. So thanks for the support, and we'll catch you guys on the next.
I've been AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. You can follow me at ElectricBetCHSR over on Twitter, also known as X. And you can also follow me here on Twitch under Corbinian to see me doing all kinds of mostly 2D20. Actually, pretty much all of it's 2D20 now. Oh, and some Fabio Ultima as well. If you want to know when I'm doing it, then check out my schedule over there. And once again, one last shout out for Cthulhu Awakens. I think this is a very good shot at a Cthulhu mythos. I really think that if you're into Cthulhu stuff and you think you're just looking at the same old, they kind of done their own new thing here, and I think it's really worth a look, honestly.
Hell yes. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay fresh.